Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Any Way You Slice It. Peter, this is Peter Tejan, by the way, I'm Jason Flom. I've been waiting so long to be able to say, welcome to the show, because finally,
Big gulp.
we get to talk about this a little bit, and Sonic Boom is also on the table, and so is Monster, and that's what we're doing. We get to talk about the albums we've never talked about. Maybe here and there, something might have came out, but we've never really talked about the songs in depth or anything like that.
Maybe just the song Circus made it onto our original video we did of the later faves.
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, no one knows my favorite song, Monster, or anything like that, you know. So
I can't even see your list. Where's your list? You're just—it's in your head.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything about the list. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna run through these albums, and we're going to mention our favorite songs.
Chronologically, because it's not a ton of albums, but it's the last few.
The last three albums.
We'll just talk about Circus faves first, and then on and on.
Yeah. And, you know, we're not going to do it in list form because there was, 32 songs on those three albums or something like that. And, you know, we're not going to break it down to a list. We're just going to talk about our favorites. You want to start us off this time?
Sure.
Oh, wait. Should we mention things look different? We look different, actually. Yeah, you want to talk about where we're at?
So I got a new studio downtown Tacoma, and
recording studio.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a little walkthrough and cut it in.
Yeah, you should do that
later. Who knows? Maybe there'll be footage playing right now, or right now. Who knows? But down here, Tacoma, yeah, it's going to be cool. I mean, most people that watch our podcast probably aren't from Tacoma, so it really doesn't matter that much. But it'll be fun, and there won't be any kids crashing in and cats jumping on our table.
I kind of like that.
We've had all that stuff happen.
I like doing the karate chops with your son and all that. You'll have to bring him down here sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, this place is my first time here. Very cool recording studio. I like the
Thanks.
I like the atmosphere you've created, and I know you're just getting started in that.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear what it sounds like recording bands here. Maybe I can sit in on some sessions.
Yeah, a friend of mine from a cool band around here, him and his friend kind of put it together, built a control room, put up some amp closets and stuff like that. And then his friend sold the building, and then somebody else I know bought the building, rented it to some other friends that I have, some old friends way back when I first started joining my first bands. And these guys put up some more walls and things. So I got it just perfectly in time, and I want to use it for more of a commercial thing, not just to record my own band thing. And yeah, it's gonna be really cool. So we could even do the video in there, in the live room. It would sound different. No, anyway.
Maybe someday. Who knows?
Yeah.
But this is where we're gonna be from now on.
Someday.
Downtown Tacoma.
Yeah.
Relayer Sound is what it's called, correct?
Yep. So if you hear any machine guns, you know why. Downtown Tacoma.
Exactly.
All right, so if we're talking about this album first, my songs from this album are the first two and the last two. And admittedly, I really don't like anything in between. Not a lot. It's like Crazy Nights or any of those albums, though. It's Kiss. So for me, I can put it on, listen to it, have fun, put it on the background. It's fine. It's all fun. You know what I mean? But for the songs that I geek out on, it's Circus and Within, and I think that's a great 1-2 punch there. I've always thought that was a really cool way to get the album going. And then for me, I know this one's not on your list probably, but Dreamin' and Journey of 1,000 Years.
Yeah.
And I think that the Circus and Within are a really great start to the album. And I think Dreamin' and Journey they're a really interesting, moody way to end the album. And it's kind of interesting that Paul and Gene both had really moody songs at the end.
The Journey could be on The Elder. I mean, it's that kind of grand, epic kind of song.
I know a lot of rock and rollers are going to like the Ace song, and it's okay. But it's not on my fave list, really. So for me, it's the first two and last two. What about you on Psycho?
You just made me think of something. Have you listened to the Sebastian Bach interview on Three Sides of the Coin? It just came out a couple days ago.
No, I saw it happen, though.
Excellent. I love it. And Sebastian is easily, to me anyway, people might say John 5. I think he's the biggest Kiss fan in a band, famous Kiss fan. But same thing, like he was talking about Psycho Circus, because I really like that last song. Then he kind of pauses. I can't really remember what it's called.
You mean Journey?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
couldn't think of the title whatsoever.
Dude, for me, Dreamin' and Journey, they're
Yeah.
just good music. And I know maybe it's not good Kiss music to people, whatever. Like Paul says, people think of them as like this major fourth, dun, da, 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 this, rock and roll like that. But I just think those songs are just really well written, really great songs.
I loved Dreamin' when Alice Cooper released it in 1971
See,
and called it 18.
Yeah, see, I don't really hear that personally.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, Alice won the lawsuit. So,
So the chorus?
yeah, the same chord progression, kind of, yeah. It's pretty similar. But that's fine. That's fine.
I gotta say, you can do a couple of the same chords, but when you do it with extreme different intent, I don't think the groove is similar at all, really. I don't know. If I were that judge, I would have said, "Get the fuck out." Anyway, what do you got for Psycho? What do you
Okay,
think?
for Psycho, I absolutely have the title track of the 3 albums we're talking about. It's my favorite song. It's
Psycho?
Yeah, it reminds me of Old Kiss. It's almost like Destroyer
It's
production.
It's a great Paul track. It's amazing he came up with it at that time, and
There's a reason they've kept it in the set all
Yeah.
these years.
Yeah.
It's just, I love the little halftime section, we'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an amazing classic sounding Kiss song. When they did that, they knew they struck gold. Like, it stands the test of time too.
great arrangement too. Ed Metrisome arrangement. What do you think about the intro?
The carnival stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could do without that. But
I put my vinyl on today to listen to it to see how it sounded on vinyl, and I got to say, I think Monster and Psycho Circus, they both sound really good on vinyl.
yes.
They sound good on vinyl. Psycho Circus might even sound better on vinyl for my ears.
I have those 2 on vinyl. I don't
Yeah.
know. Sonic Boom's hard to find on vinyl. Do you know that?
This one here is supposedly a bootleg. We'll show it a little bit when we pull it out. But Psycho Circus, when I put it on, I put in the needle over just a little bit, and it kind of like faded into the song. I'm like, whoa! When they put it on vinyl, did they leave the intro off? They thought the intro was lame or something. I went back and like, oh, I just kind of missed the groove. But I thought I wouldn't mind that.
Right.
If it just came in,
Yeah, like the way it does when they play it live.
But they're trying to do a Destroyer, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Psycho, absolutely. Again, my favorite Kiss song of the last 3 albums. Within, like you, it's great
Yeah, it's a
song.
rocker.
Demon Gene right there. Into the Void, which, admittedly, I would have put that a lot higher even 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know. It just kind of has sunk a little bit. I still like it, but it's Ace trying to basically recreate like Shock Me.
I think the chorus is pretty darn good.
No, it's great.
I do
song.
like it.
It's a great song. And
He's got the dana. He's got that like vocal, call and response breaks kind of a
Yeah.
feel on the verses.
like Shock Me.
Very Ace-ish.
Very. The only other song I like on this album a lot is Journey of a Thousand Years. So, like everything he said about it, it's just an epic song. Great Gene vocal. Great ending to the album.
Yeah.
I will give some credit to the Ace song "In Your Face," which did not make the at least the American version of the album.
Yeah.
We were listening to it before we started here, and we were both like at the same time like, this sounds just like Fraley's Comet. It really does. Maybe that's why they didn't put it on there. Who knows?
It's not bad. I was thinking that if they had done it for real and maybe, maneuvered things this way and that way, I think it could have been good.
Yeah. So, come on, let's look through these other songs. I Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll. Doesn't do it for me. We Are One.
Just the title alone.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, what's going on?
We Are One. I don't know. It's just.
Just the title alone. I mean, what are we doing?
You wanted the best?
Just the title alone. Yeah, in the middle, it's some dumb shit going on. I don't know.
At least with You Wanted the Best, they're all on there singing. I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess.
The chorus isn't bad, I guess. It's kind of heavy.
I want to bring up I Finally Found My Way just because, first of all,
the
Paul
title
wrote it.
alone, Jesus
Paul
Christ.
wrote it, Peter sings it. It's No Hard Luck Woman. That's Bob Ezrin playing the Fender Rhodes on that song.
That's hard for me to take that song. It's kind of like Beth to me, where it's like the chords, there is just no depth in the chords at all. And I kind of dislike it for that reason. Like, ooh.
Even though Beth is a million times better.
Icky.
Let's get that out. In the
Icky.
open.
Yeah. Well, it's vintage and it's ingrained and yeah.
And Dreamin', we already stated that sucks. And Journeyman.
What? Dreamin' rules.
No, I'm just teasing him.
Paul's vocals too.
Let's let the people decide. Do you like Dreamin'?
Have you ever heard a Paul song like that? I mean, that's an interesting song for Paul. I don't know.
You know, I was sitting next to you a couple years ago and you were talking about Paralyzed, and I was thinking, not my favorite song. Guess what? One of my favorite songs on that album now.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
The Power of Pete.
The Power of Pete. All right, so
Psycho Circus, when it came out and the first song came on, I was pumped. I was like, oh, this felt pretty good.
Hell yeah.
And then Within was cool. And at the time, I didn't really know about the stuff in the middle. I thought maybe I need to listen to it more. Maybe it'll grow on me. And at this point, years later, I can say that the stuff in the middle I'm not a fan of, you know. But it started and ended strong. And let's face it, that's half the album-ish, right? So, I mean, I think they did pretty good. The fact that half the album rocked. And Paul's pissed off because Fairbairn wasn't as much of a fan of Paul's stuff as he was of Gene's stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So there was struggles there with Power probably. And I think it's cool that we got 4 or 5, songs at all, really.
Yeah, and we all know Peter only played on 1 song, sings on 2 songs.
Except for you told me something I didn't know earlier. He played on the last song he played about this era was...
Oh, the Detroit Rock City, the remake for the movie.
Yeah.
We were listening to that too, and I was actually like... I don't think I've ever just listened to the songs by itself. I've seen it in the movie, but it's actually really good, I think.
Yeah, not bad.
So for their last recording ever, not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we all know about Kevin Valentine played the drums on this album, besides on Into the Void.
The whole album?
Yeah. Yep.
No way. I thought it was like different.
No, whole album.
No Eric Singer?
The Wikipedia did not list Eric Singer.
Wow. Okay.
But Tommy Thayer did play on it.
And notice if you go like this with my vinyl, you don't see any stuff happening. Remember the CDs?
Oh, yeah.
Originally had that, what's that called? Cracker Jack trick shit.
I don't know. It was kind of... I don't know. It didn't impress me. I wasn't sitting like, whoa, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to Sonic Boom.
So Boom.
This is 2009 we're up to.
Yep. So this is my Sonic Boom. It's gleaming. It's beautiful. It is, what does it say? Does it even say Kiss Online or anything?
Super small.
That's really tiny print. Mm-hmm. So I guess this is an import bootleg I have, which is gatefold.
Hey, look, he got it autographed too.
I didn't, but no, it's a pretty cool package. Of course, that's the Rock and Roll Over dude doing a sort of cool, coming back for a sort of cool cover. You can't beat Rock and Roll Over though. Oh my God! I mean this.
Why even try?
It's so good.
That's what I wanted
well,
to say.
They wanted to give back, and it has it's a 1 sheet, I guess. Pretty cool. And my vinyl, I think my vinyl is, yep, it's red. It's not only red, but it's, what do you call this, translucent? Mm-hmm. Ooh, put it in front of Jason's face there.
Yep.
Pretty cool. So, I dig it. It sounds pretty good. I don't know where the bootleg originated from exactly, but it's pretty nice. I think I paid like $120 for this.
Very authentic.
I paid a lot for this. It was over $100.
You positive it's a
Pretty
bootleg?
sure.
I mean, that looks good.
Yeah, it's not. I know it's a high quality bootleg, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly it's just an import, but I heard it was definitely a
Because
bootleg.
they do go, they're very pricey, just the real one.
So for me on Sonic Boom, I got Modern Day Delilah, which again is another great starter for the later Paul albums. I think it was a great starting song. And when I heard that, I'm pretty sure I heard that one. That was a single first, right?
Yep,
I think I heard it on the radio, and I was like, shit my pants. Like that's
Remember
pretty,
they opened up with it on that
that
tour?
was pretty badass. Russian Roulette, Hot and Cold. If I had to excuse one from my list of faves, I would maybe excuse Hot and Cold. But it's such a love 'em and leave 'em rock and roller throwback. It is fun. It's extremely major key, and Gene going for a good throwback kiss pop song, I guess. Silly lyrics. And then Dangerous. I think that wordplay, is that even wordplay or is that just a dumb title? I don't really know, but I do like a lot of things about that song. It's got some really cool parts.
Wordplay that equals a dumb title. It's very Paul, Mr. Speedish kind of riffs, you know.
I think Paul's writing on this album and the last album, I think his riffs and chords are really cool, actually. I think he was really on his game. So Dangerous, and then I'm an Animal, which is possibly my favorite on the album.
And they used to do that live as well.
Yeah. I'm an Animal.
No say yeah? What's up, Peter?
I don't know. Didn't have room for it. Sorry, Jason.
So, Modern Day Delilah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Kiss classic. Great song. It's so cool that they could do a song that good late in their career. So,
yeah, when it came out, I went to Walmart because it was a Walmart exclusive. Remember that? And I got the 2-disc version with the songs they redid.
Me too, yeah.
And the songs they redid, they were pretty darn good versions.
I left work at my lunch break. There's a Walmart right next to it.
Yeah.
Well, where I used to work.
Yeah.
In right in Auburn by the Supermall.
Yeah.
Went in and got it. I listened to a few songs and then I had to go back to work. But yeah, I got it the day it came out. Obviously,
they had a little rack of like Sonic Boom stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Remember that? Didn't they have like shirts?
There was a shirt.
They had some CDs, and I feel like they had a 1 and a 2-disc version, maybe. Yeah. Did they have vinyl? I can't remember if they had vinyl at the time.
They might have.
But I remember they had a little rack of stuff, you know. And then I think they had, what else came out at that time? Like Greatest Kiss, or there was something else that came out
Greatest Kiss was in the 90s.
To go with it. There was some other stuff on the stand that they were pumping.
I didn't get the T-shirt just because, I don't know. This doesn't excite me on a shirt. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Rock and Roll Over does, and I have that shirt.
Yeah. We all got that shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was excited when it came out, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Kiss, anytime, whether the album's really good or not so good, it's a Kiss album. And there's some excitement in the air. You know the date is coming out, and you're at the store that day.
Yeah.
Modern Day Delilah, I mentioned that.
Yep.
Yes, I Know Nobody's Perfect. That song is really good.
Yeah.
That's another one of those kind of throwbacks.
I was happy with it too.
Yeah.
It didn't make my list, but it's good.
Yeah, great Gene song. Hot and Cold, as he mentioned, another throwback song. And after that, that's all I got for this album as far as songs I really like.
Really?
I'm
no
an
Animal?
I'm an Animal's fine.
Uh-huh.
It just doesn't.
What about
grab.
Dangerous?
Nah, it's okay.
Danger Us.
Yeah, I know. I know, Peter. Let's talk about this for a second. Never Enough.
Uh-huh.
Hate that song.
Really?
Yes, it's why rip off Poison when Poison spent their career basically ripping you off. I mean, you don't rip off a band that you influenced. It's a blatant rip off, more so than the one we were talking about earlier, Dreamin' in 18.
I gotta say, All for the Glory has some good parts.
No, that
it ain't bad.
Yes, that's decent.
I would say it could almost make my list. It doesn't almost make my list, but it does have good parts. I let it play for sure when I'm just rocking the album.
Yeah, if there was a gun to my head, I would say All for the Glory is the next tier of songs on this album for me. But Never Enough is terrible. I'm sorry. I don't like it at all. Russian Roulette's decent. That's a good song.
Heck yeah.
But, the three I mentioned are my favorites.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard on this album you're hearing things like, well, they showed the little clips of Gene playing bass. And was he playing, he's playing something vintage, a grabber or something, right? And Paul was producing and telling him, you got to play your bass and you got to do your walking shit. So that was cool. But they were definitely trying to do like close to first takes as they could get and keep the rawness. And
right down to the album cover.
When it came out, I mean, I gotta admit, I was pretty happy when it came out. I was happy that they were still this cool at that age, I thought.
One song, I believe it's Nobody's Perfect. The ending kind of has, you can hear what they're trying to do. They're almost trying to get that See You in Your Dreams kind of background back and forth kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
Which, I like them trying, It's just, I almost hear that and it makes me want to put on Rock and Roll Over instead, just because I want to hear it done the way it used to sound.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll admit it. I'm the reason, like, Paul never wanted to record another album because, he always says people just want the old songs,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, kind of. But there is always excitement when Kiss releases an album.
I mean, think about Hot and Cold. If that was recorded to tape in that theater, like Rock and Roll Over, I mean, you know what I mean? With the way their voices were at that time. Not just that year, but voices progress very fast. The way Gene and Paul's voices were that month. I mean, it's crazy. You know what I mean?
But
like, you think about Gene's voice in 74 and 75. It never really went back to that. You know what I mean?
the thing that would make that song fit right in is it would have Ace and Peter in their prime on it.
Yeah, well, yeah, all of them in their prime.
Yeah.
Yeah, and your prime can go real quick. Listen to Axl's voice on the first couple releases, and then listen to him on the third and fourth releases. It's not the same. It's just a couple years later.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a real sensitive thing when you capture a group in their prime, because vocals,
Lightning in a bottle.
You could play good guitar for your whole life, usually. But
Usually.
vocals. Well, somebody we know has kind of lost it, I suppose. But I mean, but vocals, it's a really sensitive thing, and capturing those vocals at the right time. So my point is, you can't really go back, no matter how hard you try.
Yeah. And a Kiss, a band so knee deep in nostalgia, not just knee deep up to their necks in nostalgia.
Yeah.
It's just sad because you don't sound like that anymore.
They were so deep in the nostalgia. Here's my thought about the last two albums. How Creatures of the Night, that was the first album where it's just Gene and Paul singing back and forth, Gene and Paul, and it was strong and it was so good.
Same
and
with
Lick It Up, yeah. Totally badass. Those albums are really good because Gene and Paul are both strong, and it's like after a Paul song, it's time for a Gene song, and vice versa. And on here, Tommy's great guitar player. He's a good singer. Same with Eric, but hearing it is cringe. It is cringy hearing Eric and Tommy have to do an Ace-ish thing, talk about planets and shit, and it is. You know what I mean?
Planets and shit.
And then, but they know that character, he's the space ace, and then the drummer, he's kind of like the tough guy and with the gritty voice, and they give him that kind of a song. I don't know. If they had just skipped that shit, and for me, if it was just Gene and Paul, I guess personally, I would have liked that a little better. Like Creatures of the Night,
Yeah, I agree. But,
because at least it's what they are at the
again,
time.
like the old days, Peter has to have a song, Ace has to have a song. And really quick, I just want to say, and we have mentioned this previously, why the hell did they do Say Yeah up until the end?
Forever. Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
One of the biggest Kiss mysteries of all time
Yeah.
to me. I don't get the appeal of that song. I'm sorry. You could have put anything in the set.
But notice the other song that stuck around a lot was Stand, right?
Yeah.
Say Yeah and Stand. Didn't they do Stand a lot? Maybe I'm wrong, but
I think at first they did, but
They
that
did.
eventually got dropped. Thank God.
but it's the Paul songs, and Paul's, I guess Paul is kind of like Eric Singer will say, Paul's driving the ship. You know what I mean? Paul's
especially at this time.
a very important member
Especially
of the
at
band.
this time, yeah.
So he probably gets a bigger say-so on the set.
Oh, yeah.
I guess my point is, where's the Gene songs from these last few albums in the set? They did Within on Psycho Circus tour, but
They did do I'm an Animal for a bit.
yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been sitting here kind of ranking on it, but guess what? They rebounded. Hold it up and show the people.
Hold it up, Joe.
Yeah.
So Monster.
I love this album.
So Monster. Colors I just got black vinyl. I don't even know if they have special. Why don't you go first on this one? What do you got on this one?
Okay, let's flip it around so I can look at the tracks. All right.
You can just read mine.
That's good. Actually, I was looking at yours, and it's going to be different.
Really?
Okay, first of all, Heller Hallelujah is a great first single and great song.
3 albums in a row, Killer Paul lead off.
It sounds like a classic Kiss song,
I loved it. I heard it on the radio. I couldn't wait to hear it again on the radio. I heard it a few times on the radio, actually. before the album came out. That was
Wow.
cool.
See,
I
that's a rare thing up here in these parts.
was pumped.
Back to the Stone Age is one of my top 3 Kiss songs from this era,
Yeah.
from the last 3 albums. I love that song. It has a Deuce-like scream in the beginning. Okay, maybe it doesn't sound that cool, but it's yeah, I believe it's Gene. I mean, it's his song. But yeah, cool scream, great heavy track, great Gene track. Back to the Stone Age.
Yeah.
These the side 1, the way it ends. I mean, you got Shout Mercy. I love.
I do like it. But
Yeah,
it
great
didn't-
song.
yeah.
Kind of a, punchy kind of song. Cool riffs. Long Way Down
Punchy.
is my favorite track on here.
It's a really good one.
Shades of the Yardbirds, Shapes of Things. How it descends and
That's what I mean. Paul was doing some cool stuff on these
Yeah.
last couple albums. Yeah.
I love his voice. I was telling Peter before we were recording. It's like, his voice was different. It was somewhat limited. But he made the most of it. Absolutely.
It was raw as fuck. And this is where he got that almost like a David Lee Roth thing going on where like it's almost too. He just did this thing where his throat, where he couldn't go that high, but he kind of did this interesting little scream. You know what I'm talking about? That thing he did. I think if his voice being kind of like half gone kind of fits on Hallelujah.
Actually, the whole album. I mean, I'm very impressed with his singing on this album. Again, he did the most with what he had, and it works. So Long Way Down, that's my favorite song on here. After that, I do like almost all of side 2 to a point, but Last Chance is absolutely my favorite song on side 2. Great ending to the album. Again, that's another Paul song. I'm picking a lot of Paul songs.
Yeah. This is a good Paul album.
Yeah, produced by Paul Stanley, by the way. But yeah, Last Chance is great. And if, obviously we know now it's their last album. They went out with a bang. I mean, Monster is a really good album. Wall of Sound's good too. I see that's on yours. But again, here's Tommy singing Out of This World. And Eric singing All for the Love of Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
Which isn't, I like some of the riffing going on. You can tell that's Paul. But Take Me Down Below is kind of a little bit silly.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Those songs that the 2 side guys are singing, they ain't bad. They're good.
Yeah,
Well-written songs, great hooks, great chorus. But just that feeling of this forced thing where this guy's going to talk about space and this guy's singing the raw rock.
He's from the streets.
You know what I mean? It's
he used to fight in gangs.
it is pretentious. And then Paul and Gene know it is, of course, but they got to keep this thing together that everybody knows is Kiss. And I mean, I get it,
Yeah.
For me as a deep fan though,
I do like Eric and Tommy's songs on this album better than Sonic Boom.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I got to say about the songs I like.
A lot of people think that Monster is way, way better, like you, than Sonic Boom, and I really think that they're just really close. I think we didn't go for a particular number in this favorites list we made, and I just have one more for Monster. I mean, I think Sonic Boom is just under a little bit. A couple songs that are on Sonic Boom, they're just a little bit higher on the dork scale. They didn't quite make,
Can I just say something really quick? Right Here, Right Now is the bonus track.
Yeah.
And a lot of people love that song. I just don't get it. I'm sorry. I mean, the song does nothing for me.
I didn't hear it for years until recently I heard it. Yeah.
It does nothing for me. And I can see why they left it off, to be honest with you. If you like it, more power to you.
If you like it, well, you're a fucking idiot. Is that what you were going to say?
My inner self was thinking
No, I mean, I think it's okay. I hadn't heard it forever, so when I heard it, I was like, oh. It was kind of cool to hear another song. But that's where I was coming from, because I didn't hear it right away.
Yeah. By the way, Freak's pretty good, too. There's really not like, I got to skip this song,
Yeah.
Eat Your Heart Out's kind of, I don't know, they got that humble pie kind of beginning. And
going for that real hard.
30 Days
in the hole.
It just doesn't work for me. But, whole album, there's no songs I skip, so. Yeah, so.
So for me, Hell or Hallelujah, of course, pumped when that came out. And Wall of Sound, I think Wall of Sound is a great tune. And then Freak and Long Way Down, those two Those are some great Paul songs with some interesting things happening that haven't heard Paul do, but I thought he pulled off really well with his chords and his riffing. And I thought I think it's really cool that those songs are just right there and kind of hiding in the middle. And I think those are killer tunes. The other ones for me is a Gene song, "Devil Is Me." I compare that to like "It's Time an Animal" from the album. And I love it. Down, 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 down here. Like a Sabbath thing. I love it. And then "Last Chance," like you said, I think it's a great last tune on that. It's called "Last Chance." It's the last song on the last album. Kind of bookends. And again, it's got a groove and a mood going on that I really haven't heard from Paul on another tune. So
Paul is sassy in that song.
I think he was hitting home on these last couple albums, especially Monster.
Yeah.
You know.
Monster's
so,
like
Last Chance is great.
Paul's shining hour, and then later in the career, it's like again, produced by Paul Stanley.
Sometimes, you just might have more time sitting at home, and you might, over a couple of weeks, it's just what you end up throwing down. Whatever mood you felt like when you went down in the dungeon and plugged in the guitar, a riff came out. You never know. You know what I mean? Like, a year later, who knows? Maybe he could have even had a better batch of songs or he might have been feeling burnt out, or I don't know. But this group of songs from Paul is good. I think it is good.
I think Paul, whether it was a secret or not, I think he knew this is the last album. Or at least he had to know it very well could be, because he put everything into it.
Well, they tried one more time to see if they could get some sales, and I don't think they were happy with their sales.
No.
But it creates this whole thing. They get to tour for something, all this merch comes out, and, it probably wasn't a total loss. But the way Gene and Paul talk about it, well, why make records anymore, basically? Which is, of course, a horrible attitude. I make records every year, and I lose money doing it, But whatever,
Yeah, exactly.
So.
But he's used to making money.
Yeah.
You're just living the same kind of life.
Still, we want to hear music from our heroes. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just a single once in a while would have been
It's
cool.
true, though. Once you went up really high, and if it's not going on anymore, a lot of people tend to just stop,
Mm-hmm. Plus, there was issues like Paul's voice is...
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
He knew... I mean, Sonic Boom also, and especially Monster, there's pitch correction everywhere. You got to maybe, if you don't really know the artifact to listen to, if you put headphones on and listen close, you'll start to get it. You'll start to hear it. You're like, "Wow, why does that note sound so perfect?" Because it didn't sound fucking perfect. They just changed it. You change it in Melodyne or whatever. And the Monster is prime era for Melodyne. And what's the other big pitch correction program that we can use? But I won't even do that in my studio. I tell people already that I talked to you about booking time. I won't grid your drums and snap to grid. I won't make you sound like a robot, and I will not pitch correct.
No auto-tuning?
No, I won't do that shit. So,
Yeah.
But this album, for me, at times suffers from that. Maybe not as much as the last couple Ozzy albums, which I did like, by the way. What did you think about those last couple Ozzy albums?
No. That's my answer.
I thought there's some fucking great stuff on those albums. But his voice, man, pitch correction city, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't even like Graveyard and stuff like that?
Nah, it doesn't. No, again, it's like...
You only like the Post Malone
It
song?
makes me want to listen to Diary of a Madman. I mean, you know what I mean? Listen to him when he was really good. So, what do you think? Does he make that last Sabbath show?
Is he going to make it? I heard that he's already planning on not doing a full set.
Yeah, bits and pieces.
So they're creating
like
kind of a pretty big hoopla
for
for what exactly? I don't know. But
I just can't picture it.
it'll be a celebration. I'm thinking everybody's gonna be playing Sabbath songs throughout the day. I mean,
It'd be fun to watch on YouTube the next day or something.
Metallica's pumping it on their Instagram and stuff.
I noticed when tickets went on sale, the original advertising was Sabbath with Ozzy. But then tickets go on sale, sells out or whatever. Oh, by the way, Ozzy, just bits and pieces.
Yeah,
sing,
not
you know
a full
what I mean?
set. Yeah.
Then now we're not even sure he's gonna sing anything.
I mean, God, if they could have booked it for like a month away, they would have known how his health is going to be. But it's this summer, right? Is it the summer?
Yeah, I think so.
Or early summer?
Coming right up. June or some. Yeah.
I mean,
Somebody will tell us.
Yeah.
It's in England, I believe. So,
Yeah.
speaking of that, what's your take? Will Kiss ever play a show again? What do you think? And
I think we'll see Gene and Paul, and we'll see them get together and play something for something special, maybe jam some tunes. But I call it Kiss. They're not really Kiss.
if they do, I can't picture the makeup.
They're
either.
not really Kiss anymore. Kiss is owned by someone else now.
Pop House.
Yeah, I mean,
If they do, there'll be no makeup. Let's just throw that out there.
yeah, they just, Gene's band will be playing, and maybe Paul will get up on stage. They'll be coming through L.A. or whatever, and something like that.
Yeah.
So another Kiss show, though, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible, really.
Of course, the Avatars will be here in a couple of years. Apparently, it's just going to be like a Vegas thing.
I mean, I kind of hope not. I feel like it's going to blemish things, but it's just my snobby opinion. But
Well, you do know technology's came a long way, Peter.
yeah. Well, luckily those vocals can be pitch corrected to fuck the fuck out of those vocals.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll be here in 2 years, and we'll talk about it. We will.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we will. So, speaking of what we're going to talk about, Peter actually sent me a message earlier. He said, "Hey, how about Shout at the Devil next?"
What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I love early crew, man.
Shout.
I'm gonna let how they've tarnished my image of them. I'm gonna not think of that, and I'm gonna go with 12-year-old Flom who loved Shout the Devil.
You just really have to, with a band that just kept growing and changing and evolving. You just got you get your favorite era. You just have to judge it just in that for who they were at that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you a funny thing. There's a sound guy around here, Mike, and he used to do sound at Hell's Kitchen. And my group, Umber Sleeping, I go between worlds of music. I play jazz and synthy, new wavy stuff and hard rock, metal and stuff. And this is my group, Umber Sleeping, that was playing. It's like 6 synthesizers on the stage and me. A couple guys playing synths and lots of video game sounds. And as soon as our set got done, bang, Mike's like, shout. He puts on Shout the Devil. So when there's music happening at the club sometimes, and it's very contradictory to hard rock and stuff, sometimes I think of that and I put on Shout the Devil just to fuck with them. Just like Mike did with me. Thanks, Mike.
So he did it on purpose.
He put Shout the Devil
yeah.
on like, oh, fuck this.
Yeah.
What is this? NES,
Yeah.
music, so.
Speaking of Peter's bands, They Walk Among Us. This is I told you I was going to wear this. Last
I like the
episode,
colors.
I said
I like
I
the
was gonna
colors.
wear it. Yeah.
What would this
It's
video be?
poppin', man.
What would this video be without a little color over here?
Yeah, and we don't know what's going on up here between Eric and Paul. Because looking at it, the poster's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. And it doesn't appear to be a glare.
We'll see if that's just a glitch.
Okay, some kind of glitch.
I don't know.
So if you're watching this and it looks strange, his poster's not fucked up. It's perfectly fine.
It looks weird on our screen.
And we do realize that that poster has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Not at all.
Because that's an animalized poster.
Except for that's probably the lineup on Circus, or I don't know.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately,
Not
it's
Eric,
not. But Kulik did play a lot of bass on Circus. So he's on there.
On a lot of Paul songs, I heard.
Yeah. In fact, I was looking at, before we started, I have to go over Wikipedia, make sure I have my facts straight. Gene hardly plays bass on Circus. Maybe 3 songs. It even lists Paul as playing bass, but it doesn't say specifically what song.
Geez, the plot thickens to
The
why it
plot
doesn't feel
thickens.
like a Kiss album.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll have the bass player not play bass.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, Circus, there's a lot of backstory and stuff. It's pretty interesting. So, this is our episode for these 3 albums because we wanted to highlight the songs we like because there's really good music.
And I was going to ask if you wanted to talk about, this week I was going to message and I forgot. I was like, let's talk about Phase from Asshole also because I love Gene's Asshole album, but we should do a video on that later sometime.
No, I love Asshole. Yeah. I love Asshole.
You had to say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we can have some fun with that word for an hour, No, I will gladly talk about asshole. How do we get past this?
I don't know. Shout out the devil.
Shout the devil.
All right, so next is shout out the devil.
We have to do it now. See,
Yeah.
we do this on purpose, for we can't change our minds.
It's one of the greatest hard rock albums, I think. You know.
It's amazing.
And it was a
It's fucking
trendsetter
good.
at the time.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It was kind of, trendsetter, and just like, it came out of nowhere. It's like, I personally, I had never heard Too Fast for Love, or even heard of Motley Crue. And then all of a sudden, what's this album with the pentagram that my friend Tim is playing me?
Yeah.
And they thank KISS organization. I remember that's what it said.
Yeah. I wasn't so cool to know about Too Fast either. I Shout the Devil's what brought me in. So,
Yeah.
but that's when they really got in the papers. That's when they really got in the mags. You know, Shout
Oh,
the
yeah,
Devil.
yeah.
So,
That satanic image of theirs.
yeah.
Okay, so coming up next, good Motley Crue. All right. So thank you for watching. I'm Jason. This is Peter. This has been Anyway Slice It, episode, what are we up to?
Probably 55-ish.
55-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for watching. See you next time. And I have to do it at least once. Oh, sorry. I hit Peter. Okay.
This is like that video where Gene doesn't move his face for like 2 minutes straight. What video is that?
Exposed.
Yeah.
That's funny, though.
I'm just like this.
Okay.
You can turn for like 5 minutes and I'll just stare at the camera.
What are they doing?
Anyway.
If you haven't guessed it, we're sitting on actual drum stools. We're in a studio.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're hip. We're hip.
And Peter, give the people a tour of this place.
I probably will. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Alrighty.
Thanks for watching.